I've taken the English League system on Football Manager 2023 and flipped it on its head. So the Premier League teams are in the Vanarama North and South, along with the Championship teams. The teams from the Vanarama North and South are in the Premier League, and everything else is just flipped upside down. It's absolutely crazy. Let's take a look at what's happened. That's right, we've taken the English League pyramid, flipped it upside down, put the Premiership and the Championship teams into the Vanarama North and South. We put the teams from the Vanarama North and South into the Premier League and the Championship. The League 1 and Vanarama national teams have basically switched, and League 2 remains the same because it's in the middle. So unlike some videos where they've just taken the National League and put it in the Premier League and vice versa, we've gone the whole 9 yards. We've gone down to Tier 6, so Manchester City, Liverpool, they're all in the Vanarama North. All the London clubs from the Premier League, so Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, they're in the Vanarama South. It's going to take them even longer to get back to the top, and we're going to have some brand new winners of the Premier League from some semi-professional sides that have never been there before. Let's have a look at how the first season has gone. Okay, we can see the Premier League after season number 1, and it's Bath City who are Premier League champions. Obviously, they have never been in the Premier League before. I think they've only just been turned professional. So they were in the Vanarama South, finished 18th in the season before this one. Now they are Premier League champions, so the bottom half of the Vanarama North and South have gone into the Premier League. Top halves have gone into the Championship. We can see here. We're going to go through the leagues and have a look at what's happening. So Dartford are Championship winners. Fylde and Havant and Waterlooville have gone up as well. We drop down further. We'll go into League 1, which is basically the Vanarama National, given there's a few different sized leagues knocking about. Boreham Wood, Notts County and Chesterfield have all been promoted from League 1. And then League 2 is basically most of League 2 in real world, but there's a few flipped. So you can see Wrexham there are in League 2 and they've got promoted. Grimsby are in the Conference League, which I'm suggesting that means they've won the Carabao Cup. We'll have a quick look as well, but they've lost in the League 2 playoff final, and they have won the Carabao Cup in 2023, beating Stockport in the final, so they get a European position for next season. Spurs have won the FA Cup despite being in the 6th tier, so they're in Europe next year. We'll keep going down the leagues and see if anyone else has made it into Europe by winning an existing European competition. If we go into the Vanarama National, that's been won by Ipswich, and Sheffield Wednesday have gone up, so this is basically the League 1 teams in the Vanarama National. And a few stragglers from elsewhere knocking about. So I think there's a couple of League 2 teams that have gone in, but they've gone down. And then in the Vanarama North, this is where the Premier League and the Championship are now as well. So Man City have won the North. Liverpool have gone up for their playoffs. Man United are in the Champions League, though. That means they've probably won the Europa League. We'll have a quick look at that. You can see the top half. Yeah, they've won the Europa League final, beating Arsenal in the final. So that's an All-England final there. We have a quick look. We'll have a look at the Champions League as well. Whilst we're here. But I'm going to suggest that no English side has won the Champions League because no one else has been given a European qualification place. We go. Oh, this is the beginning of the next season. We need to skip forward to the final. We see Inter lost to Real Madrid. Did any English teams get to the semi-finals? Yes, Man City and Liverpool both lost in the semi-finals, so they could have got Champions League football, but they lost, so they didn't. Conference League has been won by Nice, and they beat Fiorentina. So any English teams getting to any far in this league? No. So never mind. Conference League, a washout for the English sides. Right, are we back? Now we need to go and have a look who's won the Vanarama South. So Man City and Liverpool have gone up. Man United, despite getting Champions League football, are not going to get into the National League in the 5th tier for next season. Arsenal, champions of the National League South. Chelsea going up. Spurs, as we've already seen, won the FA Cup, so they've got European football, but don't make it into the National League. Going down, you can see a few straggler teams, so bottom half of the Championship all going basically into non-playable leagues. That is the end of Season 1. We're going to do Season 2, skip forward to Season 5, and then maybe Season 10, who knows. We'll see as we go through the video, but this is the end of Season 1. Let's have a look how it's gone after a second season. And we are back, and recently promoted Fylde have won the Premier League, so they've gone up from, I think they finished 2nd in the Championship last season, and they've won the Premier League at the first time of asking. They're still only a 2-star reputation team, only 100 million in the bank now. But yeah, they've gone from the National League North to 3rd place in the National League North, 2nd place in the Championship, 1st place in the Premier League. So they're going up very, very quickly. Dartford, Chester, Blythe, and Havant and Waterlooville, who also got promoted, are in Europe next season. If we drop down into the Championship, Boreham Wood have gone up as well, as have Notts County and Chesterfield. So the 3 teams that went up into the Championship continued their rise through the leagues. They're now going to be in the Premier League next season, which is great for the existing National League teams. Wrexham have lost the Sky Bet League One playoff, so Barrow, Bradford City and Northampton are getting promoted out of League One. League Two, Sheffield Wednesday, Ipswich going up once again. I think they went up from the National League last time around. Swindon and Walsall also getting promoted. We aren't going to see any Premier League sides until we get to the National League, which has been won by Manchester City. Chelsea have won the playoffs. They beat Liverpool by 1 point in the league, and then they've won the playoffs. Raheem Sterling getting 25 goals. That makes me think that Haaland isn't at Man City, but we'll check. He is actually still at Man City. Okay, so what has he been doing? He's not been scoring billions of goals. He's only got 35 across 2 seasons, 14 and 21 in the league, so 25 and 28 overall. Not great, considering he's in the National League North and National League when he's scoring 50 in the Premier League against similar opposition, if not weaker, because there's more Championship. And then League One clubs this season. Chelsea, their top goal scorer was Raheem Sterling. He got 25 in the league, so it's possible. And how many did he get the season before? Only 19 in the National League South. But there we go. They should have probably scored more goals. Staying with Pep and Graham Potter, still in charge at Chelsea. We'll keep going through and have a look at the National League North as well. So Manchester United and Newcastle going up out of the National League North. We can see here Wolves and Nottingham Forest both going into administration, but still both finishing in the top 8. That's impressive. 10-point deduction and still finishing in the top 8. Anyone in the Vanarama National League South, going up. So it's Villa and Spurs. Birmingham and Bournemouth both getting points deductions for administration. So there's plenty of teams still in the Premier League teams still in the National League North and South. Plenty now. Well, a couple now in the. Is it going to be 4, 6? It's going to be 6 in the National League, 2 in the League Two. We'll have a look at a couple of transfers of Spurs still spending 109 million. Harry Kane went to Real Madrid for 70 million. In the first season, so in the first January, he decided to cash out, essentially. How much they've raked in quite a bit of money, but they're still spending 100 million in the National League South, which is pretty, impressive, I suppose is the word. We shall see. We'll go up into see what Manchester United and everyone else is doing in here. So we'll have a look at Manchester United and their transfer spending after 1 season. Ten Hag is still the manager of Manchester United. They've only spent 36 million, raking in 58. Lisandro Martinez going to Arsenal is their biggest sale. Anything in the first season? No, not on either side of the books. Right, we'll go. I imagine. Well, we've seen Haaland hasn't left Manchester City yet. We'll have a look at Liverpool and Man City and Chelsea and Arsenal. We'll have a look at the rest of the big 6 basically and see what they're spending. 114 million came in for Rodri at Manchester City in the first season. Second season, they've spent 130 million, which is impressive. They bought 2 players from Spurs for 80 million nearly. Someone from Liverpool, basically buying from the other Premier League clubs who aren't quite as high as them in the pyramid and not massively making any sales. So they've still got a really strong squad. Liverpool have still got Mo Salah, Van Dijk, Harley Elliott's still there. They've sold barely anything. They've sold Konate to Manchester City and they bought in nobody. They've spent £0 over the 2 seasons. Right, do we want to check anyone? I'll check Chelsea once again. I don't think we've seen any big transfers coming in for Chelsea. We'll have a look. So out, they did nothing in the first season. Nothing in, nothing out. 153 million they brought in. 131 of which was Kai Havertz going to PSG. They bought Nathan Ake from Man City as well for 10 million. That's their only transfer of the save so far. If we have a quick look at the Premier League and see if any of the new Premier League clubs have made any signings worth noting. Probably not at this early stage because their reputation will still be in the toilet. Fylde have spent 4 million on a play on Alcaraz from Southampton. Not Alcatraz, he's not a prison. We'll have a look at the Champions League though and see if anyone has managed to do anything in the Champions League this season, or the season that's just finished, so the second season of the game. I imagine no one's got to the final. No, Real Madrid, Barcelona in the final. We'll have a quick look at the group stages, see if anyone's gone out of the group stages. So obviously it's the 4 teams from the new Premier League, the National League North and South, plus Manchester United for winning the. There we go. That was Manchester United finished 3rd. Braintree, Bath, Farnborough, and Telford didn't even score a goal in the group stages, so that's pretty impressive from all 4 of them. None of them scored a goal. In the Europa League, anyone got to the final? No. Monaco, Villarreal final, and Salzburg won the Conference League, but did any English teams get there? I believe it was Grimsby who got to the Conference League, so they've not got anywhere. Right, that's the end of Season 2. We're going to jump forward once again and have a look at what's going on in this crazy save. Okay, we're now 10 years into the future, and you can see that Fylde are still in European football, but the rest of the Big Six are filling out the top of the Premier League. That's disappointing. They're all back there and still winning things. So as soon as Chelsea and Man City got through the leagues, they started winning the Premier League. Liverpool, the only ones other team to finish in the top 2 since that 27-28 season. Spurs finishing 3rd. Last 3 campaigns. Brilliant. So Fylde have won 3, I think, Premier Leagues. We'll have a quick look at them right now. They're one of the best teams, or if not the best team. They've been in the Europa League semi-finals, we can see there. They've won the Premier League 3 times. They've won the Conference League twice, which is impressive. And they've just got to the semi-finals of the Europa League as well. So they've won it twice. Spurs have won it once. They beat Liverpool in the final of their second triumph in Germany for the Europa Conference League. The Europa League itself, so Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle have all won it since getting back into European football after their brief hiatus. The Champions League has just been won by Manchester City, the first time an English team has got to the final since the game began. Real Madrid have been absolutely dominant in the Champions League during this save game. So Fylde are still in Europe. They've just beat Arsenal on the last day of the season as well to secure their 5th place in the league. So they're going to have they're going to have Champions League football next season, which is fantastic. Chesterfield are still in the Premier League. How have they been doing in this save? They've been in the Premier League since they got there. They've not gone down. Not won it though, which is disappointing. They finished in the top 3 a couple of times. Any other surprising teams up here? Barrow, Dartford are still there. Dartford, I think, won the championship in the first season of this game. They've been runners-up in the Premier League, obviously, to Fylde in that first season. So, yeah, they won the championship and have been well and truly entrenched in the Premier League mid-table since some bigger clubs have come up. Anyone else of note to mention here? Boreham Wood getting relegated, Gloucester, Blyth, Telford, all there. Telford going down. Obviously, they were in the Champions League not too long ago. Right, and Aston Villa have won the championship, going with Banbury and Cardiff. Notts County there again. We've seen Notts County. They won the Premier League once. Anyone else of note here? There's plenty of teams still from the lower league still knocking about in the top couple of tiers. Wolves winning Sky Bet League 1, so they've recovered from their administration. Worthing and Spennymoor getting promoted as well, which is good for the lower teams. League 2, Forest have just won League 2. Coventry, West Ham down in League 2 still as well. They've gone up with Welling winning the playoffs. I've still not seen Blackburn, which is disappointing. National League has been won by Huddersfield. Leicester have just got promoted from the National League. Watford are down there still. Blackburn, Brentford, Bournemouth, plenty of big teams. Everton, Fulham, Reading, Crystal Palace. Plenty of top 2-tier teams down in the National League. And the National League North has been won by Sheffield United, with Stoke going up. Any more Premier League teams in here? Not that I can see as we quickly scoot down the league. No Premier League teams in the National League North. How about in the National League South? Anyone floundering down in the depths of non-league? I've just clicked to order by team instead of position. But Exeter winning the National League South. Any Premier League teams here? No Premier League teams in the bottom tier anymore of English football. We'll skip forward again and see if that remains true when we get to the 25-year mark. Premier League, obviously, won by Man City. We'll have a quick look at their transfer spending and see what's been going on. They've spent $4 million in this last season, bought in 48, 70 and 78 the season before. Massive spending still going on. 140. Obviously, they're now back in the Champions League. They're spending 150 million. Oh, 400 million that season. That's incredible. They've not even... So the biggest transfer that season was 143 million for Jeremy Pino from Villarreal, and they spent 96.60. They're just spending so much money. It's unreal. They're breaking in some on some seasons, but it's incredible. The way they have spent money since getting back in the Premier League and Europe and winning things, it's just incredible. I mean, they never really stopped spending money, did they? If we have only one season where they didn't spend a massive amount of money. Erling Haaland, I didn't see him on the outs, though, so we'll have a quick look here. He's at Real Madrid, actually. He's gone to Real Madrid. 104 goals in the end for Man City. He got 101 for Real Madrid so far in his 5 seasons there. 98 million after 5 seasons with Man City in the bottom half of the English pyramid. Pep is still manager of Man City, it's worth noting as well. And then I'll have a look at Fylde, because they have been the success story of this flipping challenge, and we call it flipping because we flipped it rather than it being a substitute for a profanity. They spent 20 million that season. Obviously, they're now in the Champions League. 89, that Champions League money came in, and they spent it well because they kept themselves in the top of Europe, of English football, keeping constantly in Europe, winning the Conference League twice. and they've just got to the Europa League finals as well, semi-finals, as well. 67 million that season, spending money like it is going out of fashion. I doubt AFC Fylde have ever seen this kind of money, let alone spent it in a transfer window. 98 million spent there, 53 in the last season. They're returning some money as well. It's not like they are completely spending it like it's going out of fashion. Right, we're going to go forward now until the 25-year mark. And what I'm going to tell you at this point as well, if you go into the description of this video, there will be a download link for the file to start this from the beginning, basically the editor data file, which you put in your editor data folder. There will also be the 25-year, after the 25-year simulation, save game. That will be linked in the description as well. You can download that, drop it into your save game, and just jump straight in 25 years into the future. I've not looked at what's happened 25 years into the future, but I imagine there's a lot of Premier League teams back into the Premier League, but there will also be teams, probably like Fylde, who are still there from non-league. You can take them over and see if you can turn things around. Let's have a look at what 25 years looks like. And now we are 25 years into the future. The 2046-47 season has finished. Manchester City, still champions of England. The top 7, filled with 6 of the big 6 clubs at Fylde, are still in the top half of the Premier League. They have not finished any lower than, say, 14th, I think, by the looking of this graph. They've been in the Premier League throughout. 2 Europa Leagues, 2 Europa Conference Leagues, 3 Premier League titles. They are the success story of this flipping of the English league. So Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Tottenham, all in the top. Manchester United not there, by the way. Banbury United are in the Premier League now as well. They've been promoted from the Championship as winners twice. Man United down in 16th. Then we have got 2 Bradfords in the Premier League as well. Bradford Park Avenue have been quite a yo-yo club, to be honest. They've been up and down a couple of times, but they're still in the Premier League right now. They've done well to get up there, as have their City neighbours, Bradford City, who obviously started from a different point because they're not as low down in the pyramid, but they've been in the Premier League for a long, long time now, about 20 years, looking at that graph. Anyone else? Chesterfield are still in the Premier League. They obviously are in the National League in the real world, so they've done well to stay up this high in the pyramid, but it looks like Man City and Chelsea have dominated proceedings. Obviously, they were the first 2 Premier League clubs to get back up the top, to the top of the pyramid. Spurs are the only other side to have won the Premier League since they got back into the top flight. Villa have won the Championship this last season. Notts County going back up, as are Havant and Waterlooville, so it's nice to see some non-league clubs getting back promoted into the Premier League. Boreham Wood, Peterborough Sports, all Welling, all at the top half of the Championship. Blackburn promoted with Coventry from League One into the Championship. That's good. Good for Blackburn, back where they belong. Bath, who were obviously inaugural Premier League winners in this save experiment, whatever you want to call it. They've fallen out of the Premier League and fallen all the way down to League One, and now mid-table League One, not winning through the playoffs. In fact, going through the playoffs, this last season of the simulation. So they might be a good team if you want to choose to manage them, get them back to their Premier League glory. But obviously that's completely up to you when you get the save game. League 2, Burnley, promoted from League 2. Chelmsford, Reading, Leyton Orient, plenty of an eclectic mix of sides in League 2 going up now. And obviously the National League, is some more of the clubs have fallen back down who obviously started higher up in the pyramid. AFC Wimbledon getting promoted as champions with Millwall. I can't see any Premier League clubs. West Brom are the closest to a Premier League. Obviously, they're Championship club, but no Premier League clubs in the Vanarama National League now, by the look of things. If we go into the National League North, have a look here. I can't see any top flight teams or even any Championship teams now looking at things in the Vanarama National League North. We go into the South. Have they fared equally as well? Charlton, Hampton, Richmond going up this time. Torquay, no. I can't see any Championship sides in there or Premier League sides either. That does not necessarily mean that they haven't fallen out of the game because I haven't checked every single season. But looking at things, if we look in the National League, we got any Premier League sides? I'm going to have another look. I can't see that we have. I can see Everton have just recently won it a couple of seasons ago, so they're in League 2 now. In fact, no, by the look of things, they've gone even higher. If we look here, we got any... Luton, Brentford, there we go. Brentford are the lowest, by the look of things, beginning side that begins in the Premier League on FM23. Still down in League 2. Everyone else looks like they're League 1 or above. We'll have a look at the Champions League, see how English sides have fared there. If we look, Chelsea, Arsenal, Chelsea again, a couple of times actually. Man City won it a couple of times, two times, sorry. Chelsea won it 3 times. Since getting back into Europe, they've sort of not been as dominant, but faring quite well. Newcastle, Liverpool, Spurs, Arsenal, Chelsea filed. Plenty of winners in the Europa League. Conference League, has anyone won it since? Okay, Man United have won it there. Southampton, filed, won it twice. Spurs, Liverpool. I mean, this is definitely the success story of this save. And that's probably where we're going to end things. Obviously, if you want to download the game, the save game that we've run through here, you can do it at the 25-year mark. That's in the description. If you want to just download the edited data file and do it all yourself, start from the beginning, that's also in the description. If you want to take your FM23 game and basically scoot it forward to the end of the current season and effectively play FM24 right now, watch out on this video here and I'll give you all the instructions and downloads you need to do. And check out all of our league guides here on the channel as well. They'll take you through every single league that we've covered so far. There's about a dozen, and they're great fun as well. Got plenty of save ideas in there. And I'll see you on the next video.